The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specialising in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The moves.
B plus.
Check it out! Here we go!
Alright, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B Plus podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Friday. You know what that means. It's time for Aussie Grapps Day. It's our favourite day here at the B Plus. It's the day we sit down and talk about everything happening in the world of Australian professional wrestling. Everything with an asterisk, of course, because sometimes it can be hard to get to the whole lot. A lot is happening in this great, great country of ours. We also like to sit down and talk to an Aussie Grappler or Grappler adjacent person. This week, I sat down to talk with Ritchie Taylor ahead of his return here to Adelaide Championship Wrestling, where he will be defending his number one contendership for the ACW title. So, great chat with Ritchie Taylor coming up, but before we get to that, we have to take a look at this week in Aussie Grapps news. Normally, we like to start with Aussies overseas. However, I am going to start with overseas people coming to Australia. We had the World Series Wrestling International Assault Zero Fear Tour take place this last weekend. You can have a listen to live from the show reports right here on the B Plus podcast. If you scroll back in the feed a couple of days, you'll be able to see our World Series Wrestling review podcast where I spoke to Lyle from On The Turnbuckle, Chris Things from Grown Men Watch This Shit podcast, and our very own Big Boy Mikey about the two shows in Melbourne and the one show that took place in Sydney. Big news coming out of those shows. Indy Hartwell is the new World Series Wrestling Women's Champion, dethroning Jordan Grace on night 2 in Melbourne in what I've heard mixed reactions as to whether the match was good. I've had friends who were at the show who said the match was great. Chris Things said it was the low point of the night, but either way, Indy Hartwell is the new World Series Wrestling Champion. Congratulations to Indy Hartwell. It's fantastic to see that happen. However, in the main event, Robbie Eagles actually lost the World Series Wrestling World title to Marty Scurll and got injured in the process, apparently, from the looks of things. He was not on the Sunday show. Everything seems to be okay. He seems to be ready for this weekend's New Japan show. Of course, the New Japan show would have been priority, so perhaps it was just a minor issue. He was feeling a bit banged up, and he thought, it's best I don't go out there and risk injury tonight on the Sunday night. It led to some changes in the card. You can hear all about it on our World Series Wrestling podcast if you just scroll back a bit in the feed. Speaking of Robbie Eagles, though, Robbie Eagles is headed to Malaysia. He has a match booked coming up very shortly against Eman the Kid, who, of course, a previous guest of the show. I saw him wrestle at Iron Fist Pro here in Adelaide, and we spoke to him before he moved to Australia. Big fan of Eman the Kid from Malaysia Pro Wrestling, MyPW. And Robbie Eagles is now booked to go to Malaysia, to go to MyPW, to face off against Eman one-on-one. Eman, of course, beat Robbie Eagles and JK Moody in his debut match in this country. Now they're going to face off on Eman's home soil. Very, very interesting stuff there. I'm looking forward to seeing tape from that. Hopefully, if anyone from Malaysia Pro Wrestling is listening, please send me tape of that match. I want to see Robbie versus Eman one-on-one. I wish so badly I could be there. If I won the lotto, man, first thing I'd be doing right now is booking a flight to Malaysia to catch this match. Robbie Eagles and Eman the Kid. That's going to be amazing. He was the big goal for Eman the Kid. When we spoke to Eman, we asked, who are you looking forward to facing? He was like, Robbie Eagles is the number one. Like, that's the goal. And now he gets to face him back home in Malaysia, which is great. And I've said for a long time, I want the Southeast Asian scene, Malaysia Pro Wrestling, Singapore Pro Wrestling, Philippine Wrestling Revolution. I want these promotions to work closer with Australian promotions. I think our whole oceanic region, we could really get a lot working together if we share talent. And I think it helps their scene grow the same way our scene has been growing, and it helps our guys that get that experience of traveling and working with other people. I think it's a very important thing in wrestling is to get out there and travel. Even not necessarily, I mean, obviously you go to Canada, you go to America, you go to the UK, you go to Japan, you go to these places where you can learn from people who are more advanced, but it's also good to go to places where you can be doing some teaching and some, just general world learning by traveling through these places that may not have the most experienced scene or the biggest scene, but they're getting thousands of fans over there. It's not small fries. It's not. Shazza McKenzie has been over to Singapore Pro Wrestling. I think Indy Hartwell as well. Aisha from PCW in Melbourne, she's been over to Philippine Wrestling Revolution. A few of our people have gone over. I want to see this happening more often. I want this to become a regular occurrence. Very happy to see Robbie Eagles going to Malaysia Pro Wrestling. Can't wait to hopefully talk to him about it one day. Moving on. We also have the Deadly Sins from over in SPW, not Singapore Pro Wrestling this time, Southern Pro Wrestling in New Zealand, wrestling on the edge of the world. That was terrible. The Deadly Sins, that is JK Moody and Kane Khan, are headed to the UK. They've got a work visa for the UK. They're heading over. They're taking bookings. They're there until the visa runs out, whenever that may be. Best of luck to the Deadly Sins. I hope you guys just fucking kill it over there, become the New Zealand Open, become the new Aussie Open, I guess. It'd be great to see you Deadly Sins versus Aussie Open in Rev Pro, in Progress, in any of those promotions. I'm very much looking forward to seeing JK Moody and Kane Khan in the UK. I think that they've got so much potential, and there's a lot that they can learn from the guys in the UK and then bring home to us here in Australia and New Zealand. Definitely looking forward to seeing their journey. Someone else who did go to the UK recently, and now they're back here, obviously, booking big matches all over the country. The Velocities, Jude the Dude London, Paris de Silva, they have been announced along with their new brethren, Matt Diamond, as a trio heading to Chikara for Chikara's King of Trios this year. That's 2 teams from PWA, much like last year. We've got 2 teams in the Chikara King of Trios. The Nations are heading back, of course, and now the Velocities. I'm holding out hope. We know that Richard South has been over to Chikara. He participated in their Young Lions Cup. This time around, I want him to participate in the King of Trios. I want SMS. I want SMS in King of Trios. Velocities, SMS, the Nations, fantastic representation for our country if all of those teams are in the King of Trios. I'm really looking forward to this year's King of Trios. Once again, King of Trios is always one of the best events of the year, so definitely looking forward to that one. As I mentioned, the Velocities booking big matches all around the country. They're headed to MCW for the Ballroom Brawl to challenge for the tag team titles against the Natural Classics. That's a dream match for Australian tag team wrestling fans. The Phillip brothers, the Natural Classics, defending their titles, against the Velocities, Jude the Dude London and Paris de Silva. That is going to be an incredible, athletic, fast-paced showcase. Definitely looking forward to that one. In other MCW news, MCW have signed a deal with Fit Academy to be their official strength and conditioning coaches at the MCW Academy. So pretty cool there. There was a little video package basically advertising Fit Academy, and they gave one of the trainees a 6-month membership. So looking forward to seeing how things go with MCW and their relationships that they're building with their academy, because it's important for us to have good training schools in this country, and MCW, one of the best companies in the country, of course, and to see them building these important partnerships for their training school is pretty impressive. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of that. Last thing I want to talk about in the news this week, of course, there is plenty more news when it comes to Australian professional wrestling. You got things like the Robbie Eagles and Will Ospreay video vignettes that you should be checking out. Just make sure you're going to all these promotions that I talk about. Make sure you go to their Facebook pages, click the like button, click that little star that says see first. Make sure that you're seeing these first in your newsfeed, just like I do, so you can get all the videos and everything. There's so much to talk about. I can only choose a few things per week. Because you guys want to hear the interviews. You don't want to just hear me ramble. I go on rants from time to time, but I want to try to keep things condensed. So I pick a few news stories. You got to be following all these promotions if you want to see all the latest things that are happening. But FWA, a company that pop up on my radar a lot, Future Wrestling Australia. I love the roster that they have there. Just looking at the poster for this show, you can see here Big Fudge, Richard South, Xena with the women's title there that she holds, Jessica Troy, and Nikki Van Blair, who I'm a big fan of. And they're also bringing down Scarlett Bordeaux for this show. Rated S was the latest show announced by FWA. Rated S for Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux. We know she's coming to Australia. She's got Wrestle Rock coming up. She also has formerly Hunter Valley Wrestling, now Kingdom Pro Wrestling coming up. And now, of course, the night after Kingdom Pro Wrestling, she is heading to Sydney to do Rated S for Smoke Show for Future Wrestling Australia. I am so keen for Scarlett Bordeaux's little tour of Australia. Scarlett Bordeaux is an absolute star. She is highly underrated in the ring. People look at her and assume that she's just the diva. the Diva era style women's wrestler, but that's just her gimmick, man. She can go. She's a fantastic worker. She's a fantastic storyteller. I'm a big fan of her character work. Scarlett Bordeaux is brilliant. She's one of the highlights of Impact Wrestling. Well, she's been released now, so no longer a highlight of Impact Wrestling, but she was one of the highlights of Impact Wrestling along with her partner, Killer Cross, who unfortunately is not coming out on this little tour that they're doing. But yeah, Scarlett Bordeaux is an asset for any company, and it's great to see that we're getting some Scarlett Bordeaux gracing our shores. But that's it for this week in Aussie Grapps News. Let's take a listen to the chat that I had with Ritchie Taylor, and then I will hit you after the break with what's happening this weekend near you.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This month we are sponsored by Grappler, a fantastic new wrestling app available on iOS and Google Play completely for free, where you can rate all the matches that you watch in WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all across the world, and we are even getting Australian wrestling involved in the Grapple app rating system as well, starting with PWA Pro Wrestling Australia. Their Green Label event from the other week is up there. The Black Label event, All Eyes on Troy, is up there. And the last 2 years of events, at least, are up on Grapple right now for you to rate so that people can get around our Aussie wrestling and see that we are just as good as anywhere else in the world. Basically, Grapple is a Rotten Tomatoes for wrestling. Now we all get a say. It is the democratization of match rating systems for pro wrestling. It's amazing. So I get a say, you get a say. You can follow me on there at Greg Unchained. You can follow Big Boy Mikey at B+_Big Boy. At Mr. Mysterious is on there. At Danders is on there. At Jay is on there. We're all on there rating the matches that we watch. So follow us. We'll follow you back. Let's build this community and get as many Australian wrestling fans onto the Grapple app as we can. You can download it right now. It has over 30,000 matches on there going back to 1985, 15 promotions around the world. There's so much to do on the Grapple app. It's a great little community, so get around it. It's Grapple, GRAPPL.co, and it's for free on App Store and Google Play. Get around it. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Grapps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Alright, joining me now by the magic of the internet, as long as my technology holds up, which it never does, all the way from Melbourne, one of the hardest hitting men in Australian professional wrestling, Smash Mouth, Ritchie Taylor. How are you, brother?
Yeah, good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm good. We've just done all this stuff, so for me, but for the people listening, yeah, how are you?
Yes. Yeah, good, man. Yeah, I'm good.
That's awesome. So I want to talk about, you're coming over into my neck of the woods this weekend, so I wanted to talk about ACW and stuff. But before we get there, I feel like we should sort of learn the Ritchie Taylor story for anyone who doesn't know your work, for anyone who's not too familiar with you. Let's start right at the beginning. How did you become a wrestling fan?
A wrestling fan. All right, so it's a pretty generic story, like I was just a kid, and I was in the video shop one day, actually, and I saw it was like a Hulkamania collection. I think it might have been like Hulkamania collection 1 or 2 or something. And I was like, oh, I want to get that. I want to see what this is about. And I watched it, and oh man, I was instantly hooked. Hulk Hogan was my everything from that moment. I would have been like 6 years old or something. And from that moment on, it was just wrestling. That's all I wanted to watch.
So it was the allure of the yellow and the red and the bulging muscles that drew you to the video.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was. It was like a real life superhero. I know that gets thrown around a lot, and it's because that's exactly what it was. He was like a real life superhero right there.
Yeah.
And I just gave it a watch, and then my grandma would record all the WWF stuff that came on late at night because I'd obviously be asleep.
Yeah.
So I'd get up and watch all the WWF videotapes that she'd recorded for me, and that's how I became a wrestling fan.
Good old Grandma Taylor. Because for me, I had to sneak the VHS into the recorder in my sister's room because if my parents busted me recording the wrestling to watch, I'd get in trouble. So I used my sister's room to do it.
Oh, no. Why would you get in trouble?
Oh, wrestling. Yeah, I was in one of those households where wrestling and The Simpsons weren't allowed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right? Like the most popular things in the 90s, and I'm just not allowed to watch it. But weirdly enough, my dad brought me home a South Park video one day, and I was just like, what are your standards anyway?
What?
Yeah, so you got into something else that was pretty big in the 90s, backyarding, right? In the early 2000s more. We all did it. How did you decide to start, putting on the tights and go out in the backyard and bounce around?
Yeah, well, I guess it just led from like being such a massive wrestling fan, and then I hit like 13 years old, and I was like to one of my mates, oh, let's just get a mattress and try to wrestling moves on each other, blah, blah, blah. So so we went through people's hard rubbish when they would put it out, right. And grab anything we could find to land on, so like old mattresses or like carpet underlay, and we'd just fuck around and throw each other on the mattresses.
Nice. So you built like a ring out of mattresses and stuff, or was it just like anything you could find?
It was pretty much anything we could find to start with. That's how we originally started.
Yeah.
So it wasn't always mattresses. It would have been grass, or like we go down to the park and wrestle on the bark and stuff. Like it was ridiculous. But it wasn't until we were like maybe 15 we started like building semi rings. Like we'd put like old tires down and then cover it with wood and then carpet underlay in a tarp to make it look like a wrestling base, and then we'd actually try and put on proper matches as opposed to just throwing each other on the ground.
Yeah, no, I remember being on the forums and stuff in the like early 2000s and stuff, and there were all the people like showing you how to, like there was schematics that you could find on the forums of other backyarders that are like, this is how we built our ring and stuff. Yeah. So the tires and the wood boards, like that all sounds so familiar to me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they were the good old days, man. The good old days.
Yeah. And I mean, you actually met other people that you still wrestle with today doing that, right?
Oh, yeah, correct. So, this isn't a surprise to anyone, but me and Robbie actually go way back. I've known Robbie Eagles for like half my adult life. It's crazy. And like, I just remember, and I tell him this story all the time, but I was at his house one day and we were watching Ring of Honor, and he was watching Alex Shelley marking out, and I was like, oh man, imagine one day if one of us actually made it. How cool will that be? And like, to see him make it from like those 14-year-old boys just sitting in his room, it's amazing. It's something special. I'm just getting emotional even just thinking about it. It's pretty surreal.
What, this weekend he's fighting for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Like what the hell is that?
In Melbourne against Will Ospreay, it's going to be phenomenal. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. But good on him. He deserves all everything in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's crazy to look back at the backyard days and see the people that are still doing it and sort of the relationships that came from it. But when did you decide to sort of transition to pro, and how did the transition and going to the training and all that sort of stuff? When did that all come about, and where did you go to train?
So I originally started training when I was would have been just turned 18, I think, or a little bit little bit before, at a place called Alpha in Broadmeadows here in Melbourne. So they were just a up and coming company, and one of the head trainers there was Mike Burr, and who wrestles for MCW for people who don't know. And so I went down there. I had I was obviously just wrestled in the backyard or whatever, and I went in there thinking, oh, this will be a piece of piss because I've been fucking doing yarding for however long.
Okay, yeah.
But I got in the ring, and I found out pretty quickly I knew nothing, and I was pretty shit. But yeah, Mike was really good in those first probably 6 months, training with Alpha, and he really took me and my brother, because my brother was doing it with me, under his wing, and told us everything, like how to act, how to be, like the moves, how you should structure a match.
Right.
But the one thing that stands out to me the most was there was one drill that Mike loved to do, and it was stand in the corner and don't flinch, and he would just chop and forearm the shit out of us, man, and we'd just have to hold the top rope and just cop everything he threw at us.
Amazing.
So
I can see where you develop your style then.
That's it. That's right.
That kind of training's going to come in handy this weekend when you face off against Ace Wilson.
That's right.
You talked about the attitude, right? Like going in and you went in thinking, oh, this will be piss easy. Like I've been doing the backyard stuff for years. And how integral was sort of like that realization? Like you said, you had that realization really quickly that you actually knew nothing. Because I know when I went to training and stuff, I was like in my head, like, because I've done some basic training, and in my head I was like, I reckon I can do this. Like I've watched for so long. I used to do some stuff in the backyard or whatever. Like I reckon I got this. But I went in still being like, make sure I act like I have no idea. Like this is the first day, right? First day of the rest of your life. And so you go in and do that. Like how important is that attitude as opposed to just walking in and thinking you own the place and acting like it's, going to be easy?
Yeah, no, 100%. Because ego's like a huge thing in wrestling. So like if you walk in and think you're the best straight away, everyone's going to hate you. Like instantly, even if, and it really takes a long time for people to come back and warm to you. But if you come in with like an open mind and a good attitude, people will just warm to you straight away.
Yeah. Every beginner class has one though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And like I wasn't a dick as soon as I was in there. It was just like the build up. So like, oh yeah, I'll be alright. When I was talking to my brother in the car going there, we'll be right. This will be easy. But then it was like as soon as we did the first blow up drill, because I'd never done a blow up drill before because we never did them in the backyard. Yeah, man, I was dying. I was gassed. I was sore. I'd only been in the ring for about 2 minutes, and I look at my brother. He's nearly puking. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be rough. But we got through it, and I'm still around today, bloody 10 years later.
Yeah, absolutely. And this year has been kind of a marquee year for you, right? You've hit MCW. I mean, you wrestled in MCW previously, but Jimmy Havoc, your old mentor Mike Burr, DCT Robbie, like you've had a hell of a year, and it's sort of just getting started. Like the phrase that comes to mind is like you're an overnight success 10 years in the making, right? Like tell us about the road to MCW, because a lot of people are looking at you as this overnight success, like, oh, Ritchie Taylor came out of nowhere, had these banger matches, and you've become kind of an indie darling, but it's not an overnight success story.
No, so I have been busting my ass for years, man, like 10 years. I did have a break during that time, but it's just I was going through some. I don't know how real you want me to be on this podcast, but
be as real as you want, man.
Yeah, no, I had a massive drinking problem, and it took me away from the thing I love the most, pro wrestling, for a long time. Probably about 2.5 years, 3 years until I could really. I sobered up. I've been sober for 7 years now or so. So I really got my act together. And, yeah, thanks, man. And then that's when I started slowly coming back. So it was probably from when I was 21 to about 23. I had a break, and then I've been really trying my best, busting my ass since I've been back. Like I started back at PCW when I came back in. Just smaller shows here and there. NAW gave me like my big break back in Melbourne. I was on all the shows, doing all the right things, and then it's all about trying to connect with other promotions and whatnot. And I've just it's been hard.
Did the drinking, like, did it take you away from wrestling in terms of, like, was there issues with, building relationships and all that sort of stuff, or was it just literally like you would retreat into your own hole and into your own head and go do the escape thing? Was it?
Yeah, no, I think it was a bit of both. So, I started drinking when I was 13. So, so that, just binge drinking like every weekend with the boys and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then it just got out of control. And then like I'd commit to certain things like bookings, and then I would no-show it because I've been drinking the night before.
Right.
And then I just didn't care about anything. I didn't care about wrestling. I didn't care about myself, and I just keep drinking.
It's a hell of a place to be.
Oh, dude, it sucked. And this is the story that, and I've still burnt some bridges from back then, and I get that. And, it sucks, but it's just reality. This is my story of where I am today.
That's it, man. And you got to own it, right? You got to own it and be like, look, I did the things, and now it's time to rebuild. That's
right. And that's exactly what I've done. And like, I'm grateful for MCW giving me a chance, and they've been really good to me. And this year, like you said, it's been my breakout year.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not a up and comer like a lot of people have been saying out there. I've been around a long time.
Yeah, definitely not an up and comer. You've been doing this for a while. Thanks for sharing your story with us, man. Like that's I didn't even know that. That's you kind of took me off guard with that, but that's pretty crazy. And it's good to see that you're rebuilding the relationships, rebuilding the bridges and stuff. And the road back to MCW, it's been a tough one, but you're there. You're killing it at the moment. The Inter-Commonwealth title, right? You had your sights set on that one with the tournament that they've just had, and unfortunately you haven't made it to the final. But is that something that's still on the horizon for you? Is that something like whoever wins between Danny Psycho and Lockie Hendricks this coming month? Is that something? Do they have a target on their back when it comes to Ritchie Taylor?
Oh, of course. I think anyone should, but at the same time, that's only one of my goals in professional wrestling. I would love to be the MCW Inter-Commonwealth champion. I'm just a common man, dude. And I think that's why the fans love me so much as well.
Yeah.
And, I do it for them. But yeah, whoever wins out of Danny Psycho and Lockie Hendricks, once I've had my way with DCT, I've had enough of that prick. I'll be coming after them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, it's been like you like you said, you had an instant connection almost with the crowd. Like the crowd feel it. And it's been an instant thing, like from that first match back with the first match back with Jimmy Havoc, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Hell of a first match back, by the way.
Yeah, welcome back. Oh yeah, you got Jimmy Havoc. Well, I was blown away when because I'm a bit annoying when it comes to wrestling, so I'm like constantly annoying bookers and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a funny story because like I messaged them and I was like, "Oh, do you have anything for me?" And they're like, "Nah, not really, man. Sorry." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, no worries." Because that's just how wrestling works. Sometimes they've got something, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, actually," this was like 2 weeks later. They're like, "Oh, actually, we've got something for you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "Oh, it's Jimmy Havoc." And I thought they'd fucked up. I didn't think it was for me. And I was like, "Oh,
this is
mark.
Ritchie, by the way."
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, question mark, Jimmy Havoc." And he's like, "Yeah, man." And I'm like, "Oh, in a squash match?" I still just couldn't believe they would put me in a singles match against Jimmy Havoc. And they're like, no, in a proper match. I was like, "Oh, shit." So then I was fucking pumped. Like, I told my wife, I'm running around the house. I'm like, "This is fucking sick," blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, so I made a huge impact in my first match back at MCW against Jimmy.
Yeah, so how were the nerves for that, like, first match back, and you've got Jimmy fucking Havoc? I mean,
shitting myself.
What are you thinking when you're in Gorilla?
Yeah, no, I'm shitting myself the whole time. And because he was so busy, before, like, he's doing meet and greets and doing other podcasts and getting photos and stuff taken. Yeah, exactly. And this was before the show, and I'm just, hanging around, talking to people, and they're like, "Oh, man, are you all right?" Because I was pacing, man, already. As soon as I got in there, from 3 o'clock, I was pacing. And they're like, "Calm down, dude, you'll be all right." And, I finally had a chat with Jimmy, and, then we went from there, and I thought the match was really good. And Jimmy's such a awesome worker, and I'm so glad I got to wrestle someone like that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm still looking at the list of names here, and your year, like Mike Burr was your mentor, right?
Yeah.
And so then you went on to the story with Mike Burr.
Yeah, that was a match that should have happened 10 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's happened now, because it's one of my favorite matches. You know, just the crowd were into it. Me and Mike just wanted to give it everything we had, and we did that. And, yeah, I just loved it. It was one of my favorite matches.
And DCT tries to steal the moment.
Oh, DCT.
him and his hair and his. Does he have new gear for every show that he's on?
He does have a lot of gear.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like working Wrestle Rock? Is it different working in front of like the older crowd, like everyone's shit faced, and you know how does that go? Like for you working, 18 plus crowds versus working the standard MCW audience? For me, that was my first Wrestle Rock as well. Yeah.
For me, it's cool. It's awesome. I like it. Like I said before, I don't know what. I think it might be my style, or maybe the way I present myself, or something. But the fans just got behind me instantly again. So, you know, all that hard hitting, striking, and suplexes. You know, people like seeing that. So, regardless if it's like a proper wrestling crowd or just a pub crowd, people just get behind it regardless. So, I really liked Wrestle Rock, because like I've been going to gigs there since I was 13,
Yeah.
And like to be a part of an actual show at the Corner Hotel, putting my merch up where I've brought so many band stuff before.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Well, you're a big music guy too, right?
Yeah, I love my punk and hardcore. They're my main things. I've mellowed out a little bit in my older years, but yeah, mainly punk and hardcore is my favorite.
Yeah, same. So, I mean, yeah, playing wrestling Corner Hotel is huge then, but I mean, I think that's a part of what makes you, I think that's a part of where the connection comes from is just your entrance theme alone anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like coming out to Living End, like how can you not look for that? Yeah,
that's true. it might be a cheap pop, but then people see me work and they go, oh, you know what? He's okay.
Well, no, we'll get behind him. It's also your style, man. Like you touched on it. It's your style. Like we go to wrestling, like we can shit ourselves all we want with wrestling's an art form, and it is. It's a beautiful art form, and there's so many different flavors. But you go to wrestling to watch people get punched in the face.
Yeah, that's it, and that's what I'll do.
Yeah, and that's what you do. You give the people what they want, and it's awesome. And your bookings are exploding as a result. Just what we're talking about, like working 18 plus crowds and stuff. Have you reached out to? You're the annoying guy, much like myself. You like to reach out. Have you reached out and annoyed PWA to come and rock the Black Label crowd?
Yeah, I do. I just sent out a little. How you going?
Yeah, in the DMs. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. No, yeah, but you know what? Yeah, whether it be PWA or, just anywhere, man. I don't even care where I wrestle. I just want to wrestle anywhere. If anywhere wants to book me, I'll wrestle there. I really don't care. Yeah. I just love professional wrestling, and I'll do it wherever I can.
Well, your bookings have been exploding this year, right? Like, you've been working pretty much every weekend. Like I said, you've become basically an Australian indie darling.
Yeah, this year's been great.
Right?
Yeah.
Made the debut at Suplex over here in ACW as well, which we'll get. We'll talk about ACW. First, I want to ask you a couple of questions, okay? Before we're going to go away from wrestling completely.
Okay.
Is that okay with you? We'll go away from wrestling?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Beard care. You have a beautiful beard. As
I
a
do.
fellow hirsute individual, I'm a fan of the beard. What's your beard care routine like?
So my beard care is not a great deal, to be honest, but I use like a beard wash from Lush, and it's called Kalamazoo or something like that, and it's just like a beard shampoo, and it smells awesome, and I don't know, it just makes my beard shine.
Yeah,
but that's all I've got in my beard care. What about you?
Just the shampoo. Oh man, I'm on
the shampoo.
Yeah, I'm on the oils. Like I had beard soap for a while, but I found it like dried it out too much.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm on the oils. There's a couple of brands that I like the argan, like just using argan oil tends to be all right, like, in a pinch. But there's this brand that I swear by, and I shouldn't mention them because they're not paying me, but I will. Grave Before Shave.
Okay.
If you have a chance to check them out, they're on Instagram and stuff, and they make beard oils, they make soap, they make balms and shit too. And they're fantastic beard oils. So anyone out there who wants to take care of their beard, Grave Before Shave. Now pay me.
Yeah, get on.
But I also wanted to talk to you about like something that we've talked about personally, the veganism, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How long have you been doing the vegan thing?
So I've been vegan for about 6-ish years, 6.5, somewhere around there.
Right.
Yeah, it all started when I got sober. So
Right.
so I got sober, and then I was dating this girl that was a vegetarian. Every good story starts with a good girl, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was now my wife, but she was a vegetarian, and man, I was your typical like, oh, what do you eat? You just eat lettuce. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're vegetarian?
Yeah.
But I was taking her out to some restaurants, and then I ended up enjoying the vegetarian food more than what I thought, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? They can actually eat burgers and stuff. What the fuck? But yeah, and then I did, like, in a nutshell, I just did some research on what happens in the animal agriculture.
Yeah, man.
And
Factory farming is dreadful.
Yeah, not good. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I knew it happened, but I didn't know the extent. I was ignorant about the whole thing. And then, I watched a thing on the dairy industry, and I was like, nah, that's it. I'm going to go vegan. And, like, my wife even was like, what? What do you mean you're going to go vegan? Because, like, I was meat, dairy, eggs, 3 times a day, every day.
Yeah.
And then it was just, like, one extreme from the other. I'm like, no, I'm going to go vegan. And she was like, oh, you can give it a go. She didn't think I was going to last. And, yes, 6 years later, and still doing it.
Yeah. See, because I'm with you on the like, obviously the atrocities of the farming industry and all that stuff. And ethically, I want to be, but also I love steak and bacon. Right?
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, that's the thing that you hear. So it's good to hear from someone else who's like, yeah, no, I loved it too. Because a lot of my vegan friends are like, oh, I was never really a big meat eater anyway, so it wasn't hard. But you're saying you were, meat and eggs every day.
Yeah, I was a massive meat eater. Like, I just did a complete 360. Once something connected with me, like one of the videos I watched about, I don't want to go too much into it, but what happened to the dairy calves, in the dairy industry. And I broke down, man. And I don't know if that's because I'm a father myself, and I can sort of relate to, like, kids being vulnerable. And in the dairy industry, when they get taken away from their mum and stuff, it was upsetting to me, and I was like, no, I don't want to be a part of that anymore, and I'm going to do my best to try and minimize it.
Right. And so do you go full hog, like, in terms of, like, the things you wear and, like, the like your products you use and stuff like that as well, or is it just the diet for you?
No, it's everything. So I do my best. I don't wear leather, no wool. Like all the products, like their shampoos and stuff, they're all cruelty free. All my wife's makeup's cruelty free.
Right.
But we're not perfect. But we do our best to try and live that vegan lifestyle.
Yeah, awesome. So what I'm hearing for Michael Craven, who's listening, I assume, is that you should be teaming with Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's what I'm hearing.
Wow!
Throw it out there, man. You got to dream big. We got to throw these things out there into the universe.
Here I am, just happy getting booked every weekend in Australia. Wow. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
What are the goals that you have? I mean, you say happy to be here, happy to be being booked every weekend in Australia. But do you have aspirations, to do the travel thing? To where do you want to end up?
Oh, look, it's always been a dream of mine since I was like 14. Like I was saying, like with me and Robbie just watching wrestling. Like PWG, I'd love to work one show there before I retire, or like just maybe Ring of Honor, just anywhere. Just anywhere that I used to watch as a kid. Even ZZW. I know they're a little bit shit now, but
I was going to say, did you watch CZW? Yeah, that's awesome. Nice.
So yeah, just somewhere where I used to watch as a teenager and just be like, yeah, that's cool. I did that. But honestly, like realistic goals, I'm just happy wrestling here in Australia. I don't think I'm going anywhere.
You keep saying this, man. Realistic. New Japan's a realistic goal now. CZW is definitely realistic. Ritchie Taylor for Tournament of Death. Let's get a hashtag going.
Oh, bring it on. I hate deathmatch wrestling, but I'll do it.
Awesome. Well, but this weekend, before you can do any of that stuff, this weekend you're coming to my neck of the woods. ACW, you're working Ace Wilson.
Yep.
I hope your chest is ready for that.
No one hits me harder than Mike Burr, so my chest is ready.
I think Ace might take that as a challenge.
Bring it, Ace. Bring it. It's all good. No, I've watched some of his stuff, and I've seen him before. It looks really good. He's a massive dude. So
huge dude, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be the height difference and the weight difference is gonna be a bit challenging, but it'll be good. But yeah, everyone's saying how hard he chops and whatnot, but people forget I'm the elbow king around here. I'm gonna just smash him in the face, and
they call you Smash Mouth for a reason.
That's right. So no, it should be good. It'll be interesting. My number one contendership's up on the line, so that's not going anywhere. No one's beating me.
Yeah,
that's not going anywhere. I'm coming back to Adelaide.
That's what I want.
I'm going to make that my second home.
That's what I want to hear, man, because I love seeing you wrestle, love seeing you do your thing. Now, if people want to follow you online so they can keep up with all your adventures all around the country, where can they do that?
You can hit me up on my Twitter account. It's at Ritchie Taylor 6, or follow me on Facebook at Ritchie Taylor Pro Wrestler.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
No, all good, man. Thank you.
So there you have it, Ritchie Taylor. Thank you so much for coming on the show and getting quite personal with us, to be honest. It took me off guard a little. It was amazing. I'm a big fan of radical honesty, radical openness, and just laying it all out there for everyone to hear and laying it all out there for everyone to know. Genuinely, thank you so much to Ritchie Taylor for sharing the things that he shared with us on this show. I was already a big fan. I'm going to tell you guys something that I tell him not to tell anyone, but I break my black shirt rule for Ritchie Taylor. I've already bought a shirt that I'm picking up from him this weekend at ACW. It's the black shirt with the beard. I also have the black shirt that says Ritchie Taylor, established Melbourne, and it's got the picture of the state. I'm a big fan of Ritchie Taylor. I like to support what Ritchie Taylor does, and that was before this chat. Needless to say, I'm an even bigger fan now. Like, what a bloke Ritchie Taylor is. I'm definitely looking forward to kicking it with him on the weekend and shooting the shit a little bit more. And if you want to hear other Aussie grapplers shoot the shit, you can do so in the following places. This week, my personal favorite Australian professional wrestler, Shazza McKenzie, stops by On The Turnbuckle to talk about her recent America trip and quitting her job to do all the wrestles and other such things. So that's a fantastic listen, as On The Turnbuckle always is. So get around On The Turnbuckle, you guys, and listen to that one this week. Also, Fale and Gino showed up on Wide World of Wrestling as part of their little press tour for the New Japan Pro Wrestling shows that are coming up this weekend, which I'll talk about in a moment. But we also have, of course, Wrestle Radio Australia, something that you should be liking on Facebook, checking out. They don't have an episode this week, but they do produce fantastic interviews and fantastic content letting you know where shows are. Sometimes I'll miss a show or two. Sometimes they'll miss a show or two. But if you're listening to both of our shows and On The Turnbuckle as well, you're guaranteed to catch all the shows that are happening around the country. Speaking of, starting over in New Zealand this weekend on Saturday in Christchurch, Asylum Pro present their $10 house show, Skeletor's Prediction at the Garage. In New South Wales, IWA are live and loud at the Halakalani Bowling Club this Saturday. Meanwhile, in Victoria, Gold Class Wrestling Wrestleversary goes down in Geelong. And of course, PCW present Ignition at the Southeastern Entertainment Centre. Over in Western Australia, AWF and EPW are at the Supernova all weekend. And NHPW, New Horizons Pro Wrestling, present Path to Greatness this Saturday at the Cockburn Youth Centre. Up in Queensland on Saturday night, Venom Pro Wrestling present Redemption 4 at Beanley Bowls Club. And in my home state, Adelaide Championship Wrestling, as you heard, we talked to Ritchie Taylor about it just a moment ago, Redemption at the Estonian Hall this Saturday night. I'll be there. If you're there, come up and say hi, shake my hand, buy me a beer. You know how it works. Get out and support the local grapplers that do the damn thing, that get out there and risk their bodies for our entertainment. Boo the bad guys, cheer the good guys, buy a shirt, support the boys and girls of Aussie wrestling, because that's what we're all about here at the B Plus Podcast. And if You want to support what we do, you can do that at patreon.com/theb+. You can find me at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B+ Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. The B+ Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.